But so yesterday I was just happened along the just going to my homepage, or the home browse section, and I seen a title. It said Turtle Boy breaks down shocking resignations after Karen retrial, and I was like, what? Who quit? Who's good? And it was on the Billy Bush show, which I'm a fan of, and I'm a subscriber to Billy Bush, and this is what they were talking about, and maybe you guys have already seen it. I don't know.
And he put out yesterday that there's a report from two different people that you tell us, Kelly Devers.
Yeah, I'm hearing reports from very credible sources within the Boston Police Department that yesterday at 1:00, Kelly Dever walked into the Jamaica Plain district, where I guess she works out of, with her badge and her gun, handed him over, and quit.
And
Real Fabio.
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, I almost had the name. So he's like, yeah, that dude, he didn't testify against somebody on a murder trial.
So that's not normally the way. What the hell? That people quit, but that was apparently what she did yesterday. And like I said, I wouldn't have reported something like that if I wasn't pretty confident in it. A lot of people, because I knew that was going to be a big story if she resigned. So, but I spoke to people in the Boston Police Department who were able to confirm it for me, and so I think you'll be likely hearing about it from other media shortly.
Yeah, Kelly Dever right there. Now, remember, she's the, for those who don't recall, she was working in the Canton Police Department. And when
I am growing up now,
Karen Reed's Lexus into Sallyport for investigation, she was the one who watched. She was monitoring and didn't she recall her report that Michael,
she's the one that said that she was working that morning and was supposed to leave at 7, but then got held on because of obviously John O'Keefe's body being found. So they made everybody stay. And that she later told 2 FBI agents who questioned her that she saw Brian Higgins and Ken Berkowitz, the former police chief, alone in the Sallyport garage with Karen Reed's car, and that she thought that this was odd, and that they were there for a wildly long period of time. Her words, not mine.
And in the second trial, didn't she revoke saying that? She's like, "Oh no, I didn't say it, or I didn't mean it that way," or she pulled testimony.
Yeah, so this was in the TUI report by the FBI, which was given to the defense in February of 24. They read that and they're like, "Oh, well, this is great news. I mean, this is going to be a great witness for us, right?" So they go to her and they question her about it, and she says, "Actually, that didn't happen. I had a false memory of it, and so they realized, okay, this is going to be a bad witness." So they didn't call her in the first trial.
Thank you.
They thought about it in the second trial. They're like, you know what? Let's put her on the stand because she's going to show everything that is wrong.
Hey, Crafty Chris.
With, look the other way, protect, don't rat on each other. You don't rat on the other, police officers. You don't snitch on them. It's no one. Basically, the jury's gonna believe her first story and not her second story. Her first story is that she saw Ken Berkowitz and Brian Higgins alone in the Sallyport garage where they weren't supposed to be, around Karen Reed's car. The second story is that she had a false memory, and just that whole thing was just an imagination in her head that she told the FBI. I believe the first story.
So we got to get a hold of her, because remember, now, then she gets an upgrade. She gets pulled out of the Canton PD. She gets upgraded to the Boston PD, and she gets an extra $50,000 or $60,000 raise. All of a sudden, like, what great job was she doing that warranted a 50% raise?
I don't know. It certainly wasn't testifying. Not a good skill of hers.
But a terrible witness.
Yeah, I mean, in mid-July, Alan Jackson wrote a letter to the Boston Police Commissioner and the Post Commission asking that she be put on the Brady list for problematic officers because her testimony can't be trusted. I mean, she literally testified that she has a false memory. She can't ever testify in court again. Like
either she lied or she has a mental incapacity that would make her an unreliable witness. So good for Alan, by the way. Alan Jackson circles back. The whole thing's over. He secures the freedom for Karen Reed. And he's like, yeah, there's a couple things I want to just circle back on here. Like, you may think I've moved on to my new case in Malibu, but just while we're here, let's go back to this. And he reaches out to the Boston Police Commissioner and says, that woman better be on the Brady list. I think that's amazing.
Yeah. And apparently, Michael Cox, the commissioner, has since publicly denied that she even came up. She said he did admit that there was some sort of meeting between the two of them, but he said he had no idea she was a witness.
But the new news is that she did resign, and I believe she did. I mean, it still hasn't been confirmed, or it hasn't come out on mainstream media yet that she's resigned. But I do believe Turtle Boy does have credible sources, and I don't think he would have said anything unless he double checked, had two sources corroborate. He's pretty immersed in that whole scene out there in Massachusetts. So I believe it to be true that she quit, and she might as well. I mean, but this is what I'm hoping. I'm hoping now that she's quit, that she comes out and says, yeah, no, that is what I saw. They told me to lie, and just drop the bomb, and drop a big bomb. And maybe she would have a fear of being charged with perjury. But I think the FBI would come in and stick up for her, because, that would be even more for the FBI to investigate in their definitely ongoing investigation of the Canton PD, of the whole situation revolving around Karen Reed. So I think she would be safe in the coming out and saying that, a sort of deathbed confession, but while she's alive. I think that would be amazing. I think she would save her everything. I think she would definitely not save her job, but she's already quit, allegedly. And so I think it would save her reputation. I think she could go ahead and then go write a book and be set for life. If I was her, I would do that. I would definitely do that.
Retrial. They didn't talk about Karen Reed, and that he regularly just brings up officers for pep talks to his office and tells them, you're doing a great job. And I talked to former Boston police officer yesterday, who was involved in the Boston Marathon bombing rescue and several other. She's been kind of in the news. She saved a couple lives. She's like, I've never once been called up to the commissioner's office. Never. So, and it's like, so that's not a thing that happens. You don't just get called up to the commissioner's office for a pep talk, especially when you're some nobody like Kelly Deaver. And so she must have seen what was happening here. I lied for these people. They are throwing me under the bus because I did such a bad job of it, and I'm such a bad look for them. They've abandoned me. So it's just ironic that she thought that by lying that she could keep her job, but it really only led to her being forced to resign from her job because she realized nobody had her back.
She was so disrespectful. She had so much disdain up there on the stand for Alan and for Karen, and she's just so rude. I couldn't decide if it was just a nastiness or just a deep insecurity that came out in a bad way, and she has tons of regrets, and maybe she goes away and finds a new life doing something else, and which, and gets to start over. I don't, at this point, if she's, leaving the Post and finds a new life, so be it. Let her. Someone just posted, a kitty cat in the chat said that she bought a big old new house. I mean, I don't know.
Did she? I'd have to look up property records. But
what about the Brady list? I mean, I wonder, is she on it?
Not yet. Not to my knowledge.
No, she is on it. She is on it. But there's more than one.
Kind of wanted that out there publicly, that he was asking them to do it, and then their move next if they want to do the right thing. Because she like I said, she had no future in the Boston Police Department. This is going to be what defines her for the rest of her life. And it's just so ironic because she got up there and she said that I'm doing this, because she said my job depends on what I say up here today. And that's the only true thing she said, because what she said was not convincing enough to anyone. Like, no people, even on the other side, they're not convinced by her. I mean, she told the FBI that she saw these two people next to a car. I mean, how does that thought just get into your head? And then she said that somebody told her that she changed her story when she was confronted with evidence that she had left that day at 3:45 and Karen's car did not arrive until 5:30. So it couldn't have been them, right? But my question for that is, who confronted her with evidence that she left at 3:45? Where is this evidence? And, what, can we see it? Like, can you show us this? Like, can we see your time stamp? Like, how do we know that you left at 3? How do we know that somebody just didn't come up to you and said, you need to tell them you left at 3:45 that day? I think that to me makes a lot more sense than her suddenly remembering that this whole story never happened.
We need to
Yeah, so I mean, that's really it. And like I said, hopefully she comes out and does like a deathbed confession, said admits that she lied, that she was pressured into lying. She could write a book. She could repair her reputation by it. Crafty Chris says, yeah, her only qualifications probably would be for flipping burgers, but I believe that I think that's her only qualifications now, unless she does the right thing. And it's not going to help Karen Reed except for just keep validating her acquittal, and she doesn't need to keep getting validated. But what does need to happen is that the FBI investigation for John O'Keefe definitely needs to. Basically, she could be the savior for justice for John if she played her cards right, if she did the right thing for real, because I think it would expedite the end of the FBI investigation. They would feel they had enough to go ahead and prosecute old Higgy Bear. I think that's exactly what would happen. Also, speaking of Higgy Bear, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I was I don't want to say featured, but me and Samantha Bengino, I always say her last name wrong. We were mentioned on the Loophole Lawyer last week, and that was pretty cool. Regarding our work with the swollen hand, and how I talked about how that's enough evidence to basically give a guy anywhere from 15 to 100 more days in prison with just having those swollen hands, proving that you were in a fight. Loophole Lawyer had us on his show, and that was pretty badass. Not had us on like interview, but had our content on there, and that was pretty cool. I got a lot of shout outs from it, and yeah, it was kind of a good feeling.
Ha ha ha!